Recording. Hey everybody, good morning. It is Friday, February 1st. This is a group of high energy misfits that fit together, then have a conversation each and every weekday morning here on WIIFM. What's in it for me? Today is today's recap, today's conversation. I went to bed about 2 o'clock this morning, woke up at about 5:30 and went, yeah, not going to happen. I'm not going to go throw something together because that's the routine. I just sat and listened to, and I honestly did listen for something when I was sitting there, and it goes, nope, today's nothing. So today is us having a conversation. It's recap. Yesterday was a pretty big day, right? High performance. We had sentient. We had dispel. We've got a lot of big chunks going around that we're taking swings at. So what's the thing that's showing up for you today? It's February 1st, right? You know, most people have already said, well, in 2020, I'm going to really get started on my goals again. So what's that thing that's jumping out at you this morning that you need to wrap your arms around a little bit more? What questions, conversations? Because here it is February, right? And if there's ever a great day to start something, it's always today, whatever day that is. I got to tell you, yesterday, the thing that was important, that was powerful, was in this profession of network marketing. There's a lot of, the end of the month is usually, the last day is usually a big day, right? It's the last day of the last minute of the last hour of the last day of the, and all of those things. So it was right up until midnight, enrolling people and getting people started for people to hit ranks. And it's crazy what people will do for recognition. Now, the thing that's associated with ranks in this profession is income increase. The challenge is more often than not, when people go for rank, they don't choose to do the same effort to keep up the income. So they went for a title. I know there were times when I would go for the title when I was in the corporate world for 2 years of vice president, right? I believed I had that moniker, so I would do the things necessary to be vice presidential, but it didn't always translate. Vice president of sales, it didn't always translate to the field that way. So high performance is deciding to do it and then keep doing it. I said no to a few things yesterday because I wanted to say yes to helping the team down in Costa Rica have a rank advancement. So from yesterday's conversation and your KPIs, key productive indicators. What is it, Kathy? Key
performance indicators.
Yeah. See, so that's why I don't teach that. So what's showing up in your life? What are you feeling? How is this week, right, Monday to Friday, been for you? My mentor would ask, what'd you do well? What could you do better? What do you need? What resource, talent, or contact do you need to have come into your life so next week's the best week? This is where I stop talking.
Okay. Yesterday was really cool. I think yesterday was the first day of the best time of my life doing network marketing. It was to learn about high performance, to learn how to use it. It was amazing. My whole train of thought was so different yesterday.
So Margie, how long have you been in the profession?
20 years.
And yesterday was one of your best days.
Yep.
So if you've been doing whatever you do for less than 20 years, just know that there could be a day coming up in the year 20 that could be one of your better days.
Mm-hmm.
You enrolled somebody yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
How funny is that?
Well, I used my imagination in getting it done, but I haven't done that for a long time. And it's you learn all of this information. You get it, you get trained every week. You have a call, you have all this training, and then bam, one day you find out how to use it in the most awesome way. I mean, Kathy was, I mean, I could understand her. I mean, how she spoke, what she said, it made sense to me. And Leslie, I mean, and she was throwing in some stuff there, and it was just awesome. I really had a good day here.
That's so awesome. And here's the thing that's interesting about what Margie is just saying. She's a medal winner in sports, in running. There's a picture of her where she's holding like, I don't know, 14, 15 medals. So she understands high performance in a niche, and that's in running and in taking care of. And you just recently, you fell down and broke, what was it? You had, I mean, like.
I've had my left hip replaced 2 times from 2 freaky accidents. And then this last summer, at church, a freaky thing where a hook caught my shoe as I was hurrying by before we started to pray, caught my shoe, and I went down and broke my wrist and my knee.
So, and I know this only because we kind of work together in some things, but never missing a beat to do the work. So I'm so excited that everybody was here yesterday to help another soul on the planet have one of their better days. Not that we did it, right? Words don't teach, but she decided to implement that. So that's very cool. Thanks, Margie.
Thank you.
What's sort of showing up for me is, like I knew our 90-day blitz was coming today, and I gotta tell you, all this preparation that I've been doing in the last 2 or 3 months has really opened my mind to possibilities. Like yesterday, I was on LinkedIn and I saw a fellow there from Cuba that I know lives in Florida now, and I've seen him there for ages and ages and ages. And yesterday I was just so open. I sent him a message and he answered back and he gave me his phone number and said, I'm off on the weekends, call me. You know, like, who the hell knew? And then this morning I thought, okay, this is D-Day. So where do I start? And I just kind of, and then all the people that I should contact today, they were just pouring into my brain. And I thought, oh, okay, that's where we'll start. And I feel so invigorated because I'm ready for this. The first time in all the years that I've danced around network marketing, I feel ready to just go and share this and find the people who want and need my help.
So what you said yes to was asking yourself a question, as opposed to, right? I go back to what Noah St. John says in his book, The Secret Code to Success. Not what do I do? Why is this 90-day blitz the best one ever? And when you change, Wayne Dyer, change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. All that to say is you said no to what you've been preparing for 3 months, 2 months, 2 weeks. Literally, you've only been preparing for a day. The rest has just been some deep work that you've been doing. Right. Because the key is that when you go to tell your story, this would just be a suggestion, is that if people say, well, it took you 2 months to prepare, a month and a half to prepare for your 90 days, they're going to go, I got a month and a half to prepare for my 90 days.
Right.
So you've been constantly improving and working through the process. But so and again, we love seeing your change. Physically, we see your change. Auditorially, we see your change, right? When you get all excited and everything, it's fun to watch you get excited. So that's huge.
Thank you.
What else is showing up for you this morning, or this from this past week? What has kicked in? What has jumped in?
I just wanted to comment on something that Margie said. It brought to mind something that I learned from Jim Rohn, because I would get frustrated when I would hear something and I would think, I knew that. why wasn't I doing that? You know, I would get frustrated with myself. And he teaches something that helped me on this tremendously. And that is the principle of the lock, of the combination lock. I can go forward to the right all day long and nothing happens. It's not that forward to the right isn't forward to the right. It's that there's a sequence before forward to the right opens the lock. So I might have to go 3 to the left, and then 6 to the right, and then 2 to the left, and 8 to the right, and then 1 to the left. And this time when I go forward to the right, this time when I hear it, the lock opens. There were sequential things that had to happen for forward to the right to work for me, to unlock what it needed to unlock. And that principle helped me tremendously to understand. And it goes to the heart of the statement of when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's not that the teacher wasn't there all along. It's not that the information wasn't there all along. We weren't ready for it. So it's so important to keep showing up. It's so important to keep going back to the well. It doesn't matter if you've read it 12 times. I read The Alchemist every year. And every year I get something new from it, because every year I'm primed for a new lesson from it. And so I just wanted to share that, because I think it's important for us to realize sometimes we're not meant to get the lesson yet. Sometimes we haven't had the right sequence yet in our life or in our work for us to get that. So, I mean, I'm so thrilled for Margie, but I'm even more thrilled for the lesson reminder to all of us that we're going to hear the same thing 20 times, and then we're going to hear it the 21st time, and something will have happened inside of us between the 20th time and the 21st time that completely changes our response to the message. And that's why we keep coming back. Because even though we've heard it and heard it and heard it, there's going to be that time. There's going to be that time that when we hear it that time, we've done the 4 to the left and the 6 to the right and the 2 to the left, and we're ready for 4 to the right in that telling. So that was a lesson that meant a great deal to me from Jim Rohn, because it helped me understand why sometimes it gets through and sometimes it doesn't. It freed me up of when I speak to people to feel like they all had to get it that time. They're not supposed to all get it that time. But the ones that are going to get it that time, they get it.
Kathy, that's so interesting. I was on a Jim Rohn thing last night too, and it was the don't sign up for that class. And that's where I was. And this, I would say this last, since July, it's been a different road for us. Lots going on, you know, with the house is sold and we finally found somewhere last night. So more new things happening. But business-wise, it's been very interesting. And in trying to find what our new normal is and what this new story is that we are in the middle of creating or walking through that next chapter. The story is already written, so we've just kind of shown up in this chapter now trying to figure out, okay, now what happens? And I'm that person who always wants to just kind of flip the page, so I have a little idea of what's coming next to be ready, but that doesn't seem to be the way how our life has been. And in yesterday's, I think, Sean, how you started it out with, it's time to step up your game. Somebody's waiting for you. When are you going to show up? And that was a real aha for me, because in what we're building now, as I said, it's very different in the sense that we came starting fresh. And when you've been in an industry for 38 years and you show up someplace because you know in your heart it's the right place to be, but yet you have to begin with newbies and no leaders that come with you. And so it's like our new thing is to raise up leaders. It's to find people and let them shine, show them how to shine, help them dig in to find out who they are, and to kind of, watch them blossom like a flower just kind of opening up. It's kind of like if you've ever seen a peony, the flower, I mean, the bud, the only way it opens is if all these little ants are running around all over it to allow it to open up. And so I kind of think that I feel like I'm an ant lately because I'm just on all of these people, working with them and then waiting for them to open up. It's a very different place for us. And so we had this conversation last night amongst packing boxes. Long as I'm talking to Rick, I can get him working. Pack boxes. And so I said, why is it that, you work on yourself to then attract people to you? Why are we attracting certain people and not people bringing a team? Because you see other people do these things. Not that it's ever happened for us, but I said, why does this not happen? Well, his first response was, don't sign up for that class. And so we got laughing. But he said, that's not the track we're on. He said, all of us are given a track to run on. And he said, think of a horse with the blinders on. It's running its own race, and it's where it's supposed to be. So if we're always looking to the left and the right, trying to figure out, well, why not me? And why do they have this? We're not running our own race. We're so off course. But if we just stay focused and run on the track that we're on, the track that we know how to run on and do good, we can always get better at that track. And there may be hurdles. And was it you, Kathy? Gosh, I had so many notes yesterday with the hurdles. And that got me too, where you start low. And it took me back to when I was in school in Wales, and I was never anybody who could figure out hurdles. They were so low, and I would drag my one foot and knock them over. So that was not my thing. But when you said you start the hurdles, you start low, and as you achieve that one, then you raise the bar. Sometimes I think, even for myself, I've set the bar so high that I couldn't even get a ladder to get over them. Never mind lift my leg high enough to get over. And so yesterday was so interesting with the aha moments where it was start your hurdles low, achieve them, and then raise the bar, and that people will challenge you to raise your bench all the time, right? Your benchmark. So I am learning to embrace the new journey, the new chapter that we're in, and just really looking for those people that need that extra, that need somebody to believe in them, that need somebody to encourage them because they've got it in them, but they just can't see it in themselves yet. So that's kind of where we're at. So this whole thing, and also when, Kathy, I got so much from you yesterday with the ROI, and you said it's not just on the money, because that's where we focus is, well, what's my return on investment? When we're talking to people to join our business, especially these top people, it's, well, what am I going to get for it? What's in it for me, right? How much money am I going to make? But then there's the return on learning, return on relationship, return on energy. I never looked at that type of return. So I had so many blinders come flying off yesterday, because it's like, if I'm not completely focused on the return on money, look at all the other returns that are possible that we overlook, right? The blessings that come from all the things that we do. And so many times, unless there's not money attached to it, we miss it completely. So thank you. Some huge, huge aha moments yesterday to run the weekend with. Appreciate you.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to need some help on this, because this one is being really open and vulnerable. Not like I haven't been the rest of the week, but this is a big one. So Elaine, you and I seem to be kind of in the same space of, like starting over from scratch. And what I have found I'm stuck in ready to be ready. to be ready to go. And through meditating and through the process of being in here with all of you, I've come to realize that I haven't really embraced starting up my new business because of some crap that happened with the old business, and that one was with leadership. And because I started 4 years ago and started from scratch, so I'm still basically a newbie, but I ran so fast, I didn't have the skills necessary to truly lead the downline. And my upline was less than ethical, which is where I started running into all kinds of problems. It just wasn't working for me. So because of my lifestyle that I've led from the time I got married at 19, I have never been an entertainer. I've never had a party at home. It's not in my DNA. It's something that I've never experienced. So when I watch people like Angel Fletcher, and this isn't necessarily comparitis, but people that are truly servant leaders, Lisa Grossman, I can look up at the amazing leadership that I've been turned on to, and I'm not sure how to take step to grow into that person. And that's it's a battle that I'm having. I'm realizing now that in order to get to the 7-8 figure earner that I want to be, that I see myself at being, I need to learn how to become that person. And that's a growth thing. So Emily, you were saying yesterday that you were allowing yourself time to grow into the person that you're ready to go to start this 90-day run. I feel like that's exactly why I haven't really begun my business, because I know that I've got to really dive deep. But at the same time, I'm wondering if it's excuse-itis. Like I'm giving myself all these reasons to not really go. So what do you think, you guys?
All right, I want to say one thing to you and Elaine and a couple other people. I want you to stop calling yourselves newbies.
Okay.
You are so not a newbie. You've got this thing you keep replanting in your head that you don't know, that you're new to this and you don't know anything about this, that you're starting from scratch. You are so not starting from scratch. You've got to let go of this idea that you've lost everything and you have to start with all from scratch all over again. You know how powerful the knowledge is that you have now you didn't have then?
Wow.
You are not a newbie.
I accept.
I'm a newbie. If I were to go into multi-level marketing, I would be a newbie. You know why? I've never done it before.
Right.
Once you've done something, you lose the right to say, I've never done that.
Wow.
Because now what you bring in is all the stuff you didn't know. You know now what some of the, where the blinkers, the yellow blinker lights are now. You know what to watch for. You know what works. You know what doesn't work. You know where you need to be more effective with a downline. You never knew any of that before.
Holy cow.
All right, so listen, I can't tell you anything about levels. I don't know anything about that, okay? I'm just gonna flat out tell you guys, I am not your go-to gal to how to be successful in MLM. I have no clue, but I know how to be successful. And I have a feeling that there are certain principles about how to be successful in the corporate world that probably aren't that different from how to be successful in an MLM industry.
A business is a business.
Right? It's business. it's business. It's sales and recruiting, sales and recruiting, sales and recruiting, right? Making sure that you're optimally serving both the people you serve and the people that serve you. I want to make sure though that you guys start giving yourself some credit for how you got to who you are now. So you're getting so caught up in who you want to be, need to be. How about a moment to pause and celebrate who you are? So that's my 2 cents.
Bless you. Thank you for that. The smack of
So-
silence that we all needed to hear.
So here's what's interesting, Kathy. And this is us being totally raw. They've all heard that before. I can promise you, they've all heard it from me.
Of course they have.
So, and I say that, and so there's a part of me that again, so this is, I want us to all hear this. I'm just being totally clear with this, because this is going to happen as we build our groups. This is a learning lesson and a teaching lesson all in the same moment, from me and for me. I'm hearing Kathy tell that to you, Leslie, and we talked about that on DG and Fiji side. Here's the cool thing. We always need a new voice. It's the Margie story that just showed up. Elaine, how many times have you heard somebody, you've even told that to people, you're not new at this. What have you lived on? You've all heard me say this. What have you lived under a rock for the last 30 years? You've spoken to people. You've had a conversation with people. You've asked for direction. You've given directions. You're not new at this. But you were both present and in this moment to hear it from Kathy, because it came from a different perspective. It came from the oracle, right? She's holding her hand out going, you got the red pill and the blue pill.
Yep.
Pull your head out of you know where, and which one you gonna take? So this is what's so cool about mentorship. And so part of me is going, WTF? What am I, chopped liver? Right? But this is, again, so take this not from me, take it from we're gonna sit there and we're gonna have our team show up and we're gonna go, son of a bitch, they've been coming to my house for the last 6 years, and then some little schmuck gets on stage and goes, I went 4 ranks in a month and I don't know what I'm doing. And then they're going, I'm gonna do that. And you're like, what the hell? We're all together in a car, and I don't care what roadmap or what billboard you see where they decide to buy into their own life. So part of me was sitting there going, what language was I speaking?
You know, it's so interesting. I'm just sitting here laughing. Kathy, I so appreciate you. Those 2 cents of yours are golden. I just put down something for me to do today, and that was write a list of things I bring to the table. And so that's going to be something I'm going to work on over the weekend. But Sean, what you just said, I do exactly that, because you know, when we go in to work with teams of people because the leader's frustrated and it's not happening. And so we say, okay, well, where does the group need? Where do you think they need some encouragement? What do you think they need to hear? So they'll tell us what the group needs to hear, which is what they've been telling them all along, but nobody does. And you do exactly that. You go in there, you're at the front of the room, you're doing one-on-ones, you say those exact things they need to hear, which their leaders have told them, and bingo, they go to work. And it's not that you're anybody different. It's just, it's like, you know, you're not a prophet in your own land. It doesn't work that way. Somebody else has to come in to say, and it's like their ears, they've never heard that before. And you really do. You just have to not have, well, you've got to get that poker face, because you just really want to go, are you for real right now? You really have never heard me say this to you only 30 times and yesterday. And somebody new gets on a call and it's all of a sudden the light comes on. So Kathy, thank you for being my light this morning.
So here again, it's the power of the 3-way. I know that with technology and everything else, we try to do things and everything else, but this is a real live 3-way. So I can promise you, this is going to be part of my story. Going, hey, listen, I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm one of the top in the world, and somebody who comes on, who's a very dear friend, but. And I say this lovingly when I tell the story, can't spell MLM forwards or backwards. And she says, wait a minute. And we all tell everybody they're not new, but because of her because of her authority, because of her place of love, and because her words hit in a different spot. Powerful woman talking to other powerful women, right? It doesn't matter how many commas I got in a check. I'm still a guy, and there's a part of your brain, women's brains, that go, he doesn't quite get it.
So what's even funnier, when you know what you know, okay, so in my other business as a high-level hunter jumper horse show trainer, we have people that we are training all the time that have a lot of money, and we can again tell them exactly how to ride to that ox or jump at the far end of the ring. They hear it, they go and do it, they get in their heads, they mess it up, and then you have people that will come and do clinics for you. Okay, so it's the same thing. They'll spend $3,000 extra to go hear the exact same thing said in just a little bit of a tweak and go, oh my God, I get it now. And so it is all in everything, it's all full circle. And it's just hearing what you know from a different source in a little bit of a tweak that makes all the difference. So I'm like so stupid for not thinking about that on myself, but that's okay because I just needed to go through the process. This is awesome. I appreciate all of you so much. You have no idea. It's crazy.
So here's what I would ask you to do. Because these are life-changing moments, which will have a tendency to repeat unless we catch the moment, go back and ask yourself, what was it that allowed me to hear that? What was it in the moment that allowed me to be present for that? I don't care how many times we heard it 1,000 times ago. So there was something that changed. And again, this is where we talk about the physiology of this. Because when we all heard this, from the time we heard Margie to when Kathy, because you could see Kathy get ready to jump on, go to tell everybody, you're not newbies, right? You could see it's all in the body. We all start to move around. When we hear something, we start to get antsy and we start to do all of this stuff. And I watch this. I watch it on the screen and I go, okay, so they're getting ready to say something. And because who you are speaks so loud, none of us need to hear what you're saying. I say this to say there's a moment in the darkness, right? Up until the moment that Kathy spoke, Margie spoke, Emily spoke, Linda, whoever spoke, you're in the darkness. And when you grab it, the light flips on, right? Oh my God, I just had a light bulb moment. Nobody goes, I just fell into the well. We had a light bulb moment. So just before that, here's the thing that's so powerful in grasping your own ability to understand is there was something just before Kathy started having her conversation. There was something just before you started to speak. There was something that pulled you out and moved you into your conversation going, oh my God, I got it, right? So I'm asking you to review that because again, that would be a key performance indicator that might be the trigger. Where were you in a state of mind that allowed you to hear it? Because evidently we grew into that, right? So again, give yourself credit for that. Just like Kathy said, give yourself credit for hearing that. Don't beat yourself up for going, you know how many times that son of a bitch has said that? You know how many times I probably heard that in the past? You know how many times I probably said that in the past? That's the ego showing up going, whoa, whoa, whoa. You just had a breakthrough. And in that breakthrough, you could change everything.
Yeah,
So-
Rob just posted in the chat something that I think is so critically important. He said that his boys play baseball and he's helped coach them for years. In the last couple of years, the other dads tell each other what we want to say to our boys, so it's from a different voice. Then they get it. And I often think a lot of good things can be done if no one wants to receive credit for it. Rob, that is so important, and thank you for sharing that because this is the key, right? I had to learn with my daughter that I had to allow her to learn it from someone else. That our commitment has to be that we guide them to the learning, not that we insist on being the teacher. And I think
Hold on. I hope everybody wrote that down. Our responsibility or
we guide them to the learning without insisting on being the teacher. I had to be content to say someone else could own that role for her. You know, and I think this is what Rob has shared here is so critically important, because it's not just about us in the learning, it's about others in the learning. And this, you know, there's a famous quote for this, and it might be from Ziglar. It's amazing how much gets done, or somebody said it. Amazing how it's when people stop being worried about who gets credit for it. I don't remember who said it, but he's referring to that here. But it's like, that's such an important thing. So Rob, thank you for that, because I think it's important for us all to understand when you move from being, when you move, and I'm only assuming this, but I'm assuming moving through, I think you guys call it an upline, which I'm assuming means there's people that you're now responsible for what they do. So in my world, that would be called a manager, okay? We have different titles of different industries, but in my world, that would be a manager. And I have, over the course of my career, spent a lot of time mentoring and managing managers. And one of the first lessons they have to learn, that's the hardest thing for them to learn, is that they're no longer responsible to do it. They're responsible to get it done. Such a shift. It's such a powerful shift. And I watch new managers that have never managed anyone before keep coming alongside their people and doing it for them. And no, that's not your role now. You graduated. Now you're supposed to be guiding them to do it. Your job isn't to do the job anymore. Your job is now to get the job done. And if that means you bring in other voices, you bring in other resources, you encourage them to go to your meetings and your conferences, that's now your modus operandi. But this is a key point that Rob is sharing here, is that we have to allow and invite the other voices. And when we get that, then now we can really say we're committed to their learning.
So that's huge, Kathy. Because with Mason, right, I'm pretty good at personal development and all that stuff. So, but I just know that if I push that on him without him hearing it, so I do my best to expose him to it, because I'm his dad. Dads are goofballs, right? So I think that's important. And I will throw out this, Elaine, and some folks will get this. Managers, right, they don't have to do it. They have to be responsible to do it. The challenge is in network marketing. People sponsor 3 people and they go into management mode and they go, you should be doing all of this. So they become great managers in network marketing where they may not have in the corporate world. But so there's still productivity that needs to happen. But yeah, totally get that. So Bob, you popped in. Charlie, good morning.
Yeah, I've got to suggest that Kathy knows much more about direct marketing than she gives herself credit for. Didn't she identify a need in Leslie?
Yep.
That's what we're about, finding out what people's needs are, and then matching our offering to that need, if we have it. If we don't, we say, nice talking to you. Go on to the next person.
And here's the neat thing, because this community, we know each other, and I have no doubt that if this was our first conversation, because of where you come from when you say something, Kathy would have said that to you on day one had she met you, had she understood the environment of who came into this community. I say that to say, how many of us are sitting on the sidelines or maybe a little timid to say, kind of get into somebody's face with love and joy and respect, to say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? So you bring up a good point, Bob.
There's another concept that I thought might be useful to consider. if, as Kathy suggests, Leslie knows an awful lot more about what she needs to do
I know everything I need to do.
and needs to appreciate who she is, that doesn't mean we can't go beyond that. Robert Dilts modeled the Disney studios and determined that Walt Disney broke down all of his functions, all of the functions, the creative functions, into a number of separate entities, so that, for example, Leslie could consider her up and coming business as a dream. Disney would has a entirely separate department where the only thing you're allowed to do is dream up ideas. And then there's another department that comes up with tactics or strategies. And the only thing that the people in that department are allowed to do without criticism is to come up with ways to make this dream a reality, come up with ideas. Then there was a third department, I don't know what it was called, but it was essentially the critic department, where the only job of those people was to look at the plan for this new dream and to make criticisms of it. And then it was finally passed off to another department, maybe you could call it maybe a quality control or some sort of a management department that looked at the whole process as it has developed on that dream so far and decides whether it's complete or not. And if not, they send it back to the dreamer. And the dreamer comes up with new ideas, adds a little bit to it, passes it off to the strategy department. They come up with additional ways to make that real, make that dream a reality. Then they pass it off to the critic department, and they figure out what's wrong with it, what's right with it. And what you find out is you can do this yourself. You can set out separate locations on the floor in a big circle. And the trick is, when you start developing a strategy for accomplishing your dream, that's where you don't want to hear internal critics, your parents, your teachers, your society coming in and say, oh, you can't do that because that's not your job in the strategy department. Your job in the strategy department is just come up with ideas. Well, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. And you make a big list of those things. You pass them off so that in the circle where you are the critic only, you look back on your plan and decide whether it's going to work or not. What's wrong with it? What improvements need to be there? And then finally, you step off into your spiritual quality control space and think about the whole process thus far. And once again, decide, is it cooked? Am I done with that idea? Do I want to run with that idea? Or do I send it back to the dreamer to come up with a variation on the dream? And so round and round you go until all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, you get the feeling, that's it. And you're off to the races.
That's really huge, Bob.
Pardon?
That's really huge because I'm very visual. So to put myself, like lock myself in my dream department, write it all down, get it out there, then go to the next, I'm thinking of rooms. So I'll go to the next room where I'm going to be my strategist.
That's exactly the right way to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's really huge.
Pick a room where you just do nothing but dream and anchor the feelings of dreaming in that location. And likewise, maybe at a desk or something where you figure out strategies and planning, that's where you do that. But you don't make plans, you don't dream. You break up those functions so that they're pure and they don't pollute each other.
Yes.
And Leslie, he means physically as well. So do your critic at the kitchen table, do your dreaming in your office so that you have that state of mind. It is remember, the physiology of any goal setting it incorporates the body. So if you're sitting in the same chair, okay, now I'm going to put on my critic hat, and and the dream hat's going, what the hell are you doing here? You're not even supposed to be in this office, right? And yeah,
it's physiological and geographical anchoring. You're anchoring a state in which you want to perform a certain way. So it keeps everything clean, unpolluted, unscrambled, and makes for a more efficient development process.
Wow.
I'm going to throw something out because it came in, it downloaded to me. There's mentorship groups that are out there, mastermind groups that are out there, that people pay $1,000 a year, $10,000 a year, $50,000 a year. I can't imagine how much this would cost if we set it up for a fee. Do you
You're
get
so
that?
spot on.
I want, but as the guy that started it, if you will, and said, I'm getting out of my own effing way, I'm not saying that we're going to start charging. Please, I'm speaking to your subconsciouses. But what I am saying is that we seem to implement a lot more shit if we pay for it. So imagine if this was a $5,000 a month mastermind. We'd be putting some stuff in so that we could pay for next month.
Value. We have to value it.
I want, because I know there's people who've paid 20 grand for a mastermind and have really not had the results that they're getting here. And it's, again, not because of me,
Yeah.
because of who showed up.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be, I'm not saying that, ooh, look at us and ooh, we're worth 20 grand. Yeah, well, okay, so how much did you make last month? Well, add up all of the memberships. I got enough for a cup of coffee if I paid for it myself. I don't want us to miss out on, and plus, I don't know where we would all go wind up in a community together anyways.
You know, I had that same feeling this morning, like about 10 minutes into this, and I was going to say it, but I didn't jump in. I was just thinking, this is incredible. The wealth of knowledge and information, the aha moments, the breakthroughs that I'm having, that I'm seeing others having. And the cool thing is too, is kind of like what we were talking about, and nobody's really going, well, that was me. I was the one who said that helped you. So nobody.
No, I said all of it. Everything you've heard, I said.
but nobody's like jumping in going, well, I took the credit for that. It's like this really awesome group of misfits, high energy misfits, this team that's been created here with the people that are always showing up, that I couldn't even put a dollar figure to what you would have to pay for this. And I have been a person who has invested a lot of those, and with some, you know, well-known people. But I have like, this is just from being on this is full, right? I'm like ready to start another, and I don't think, and I was reading through some of these notes and these aha moments, and like, wow, and when I say simple concepts, sometimes it's like when you go to some of these ones that you pay all this money for, it's so deep what they say that you got to get somebody to help you dissect what they just said. It doesn't go in, or maybe, you know, like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So maybe all of you are the teachers and this student is like ready and I'm getting it all and the breakthroughs, and it makes sense. But I just want to say, like, this is, if I have to miss a morning, and I think I've missed 2, it's drove me crazy, because it's like, I know I need to be here because it's what fuels me for the rest of the, you know, so like, this is so amazing because I've got enough today to get me to Monday. Right? Because I don't get to be a part of this for 2 days. But it's just, you can't put a value, financial value on this. Is just incredible. So I know and just believe great things are going to come from this, because even in people who weren't talking in the beginning that are now jumping in and speaking, and it's cool to hear their stories. And I'm learning from all of you. So thank you for this, Sean, for putting it together, because I know it's a commitment on your part that a lot of us probably don't realize, especially when you have very little sleep and, but yet there you are. So it is definitely recognized and appreciated.
He's just a farmer. He's just planting seeds.
That's all
That's
I'm
for
doing.
sure.
He's gonna have a major harvest.
Planting the
CET
seed.
planting.
Couple of weeds I got to get rid of, but I'm planting the seed. And so again, this is about being in the moment, because that's all we have. Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. And so I'm going to just brag on me for just a second. Listen, I'm done talking about me. Why don't you talk about me? No, but here's my point. I used to laugh when people would get on stage and they could recite all these books. And Kathy makes me look like a neophyte as it relates to just this book knowledge. Well, because I probably haven't read that many. But I love the fact that after 54 years and 30 years of personal development, 40 years of personal development, to be able to have that conversation, go, Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, or Daniel Pink's To Sell is Human, or To Drive, or to have all of this stuff. And people will say to me, where did you learn all of that? And it's like, learn all what? So we have this unlimited resource of information that can come in. It's when we adapt, adopt, and use it that we start to realize it's the more we can reference something else even in our stories, right? Kathy said it. Well, it's a Jim Rohn story. It's not. Kathy's going to go, well, I think it's, any job can get done when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. I heard that. But no, we're always referencing somebody else so that the person listening always says, I don't have to be like them. If they have that, how many times do we teach that in this profession? I don't have to be like them. I can use that resource. They learned that from somebody, because if they learned it, I can learn it. And that's the neat thing, right? If M can get better at what she's doing, I can get better at what she's doing. If Margie, after 20 years of working every day diligently, has the combination click, we can all have the combination click. That's the challenge when we start to see other people doing well, is that we go, well, look, yeah, but they're good at it. No, if one can do it, anyone can do it. There's a good book out there, a couple of thousand years old, that said, even the least of you can do this and more. So I just love the fact that this is all together happening. And so I'll set my ego aside again, like that's hard to do. But this morning, right, I'm sitting there, and Michelle, the alarm goes off at 5 o'clock because I was sleeping in. And Michelle goes, don't you have to get up? Beamish comes up and he puts his head right here, and it's like, well, Beamish is making me stay in bed. And then I said, you know what? We're just going to do a recap. How freaking cool is it? I had no direction of that. And my ego's going, yeah, but you got to go do you got to go put a PowerPoint together. It's just 7 slides. Just throw some shit together. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I just got to say, listen to that voice inside of you. When you let it start to have its spot in the light, right? It's been referenced a couple of times. Bob referenced it. Leslie referenced it. All of these voices outside and all of this stuff. When you move into those when you take your place in that role, be that role, right? Last night, everybody's running for rank and having conversations. I'm standing there on the practice field with Mason going, I'm being a dad right now. I'll respond, but I'm not getting engaged in that right now because I'm watching my son. He's only 15 once on this field tonight once. I wasn't going to miss it. So be present. Be listening. And then I guess be is part of the being. So there's my soapbox.
Be curious.
Be Charlie.
be willing to be open and vulnerable because it helps everybody in this group learn. So I'm going to call out Chatlack and Rob. You know, you guys are like doing stuff in the chat. Well, that's really good, but you need to show up on camera. It's time. We need to hear from you. Boy, get busy, would you?
Isn't this cool? Who'd have thunk it? And this is, listen, we're like a month and a half into this. You'd think we've been doing this for a year, but here's the thing. Most mentorships meet what, twice a month, 3 times a month, once a quarter? So if that was the case, once a quarter, that's 4 times a year. That's 4 into 30. That's 6 times 4 is 24. 7 times 4. We've been like 7 years together. We're like one dog life.
Well, I do feel that it is that way because, hi.
There they are.
Well, you know me, it's always a lot of things in my mind, but it's like English, Spanish. But anyway, the thing is that this thing about me, English and Spanish and all these things that I go through when I hear all these, all my, how I say that, my light, because you guys are my light in the morning. And I've been fighting with this, like, gosh, I have to go and listen to this again because half of things I didn't understand. And I caught one on, let me see if this was exactly what I understood. So I go back and listen to replay most all the time, right? But what I want to say with this is, remember one day I told you guys that I never believe in this type of group because I think these things get you crazy and get you more messed up than before? Well, it's funny because, well, I do believe in this now. I'm so happy, and I think every day I'm nervous, and I pray that Chuck never say, okay, this is it. And I got a feeling that one day he's gonna say. Plus, the other day, I received all those messages like cancel, 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 cancel. And I was like, oh my God, he canceled me. Maybe because I didn't turn off my camera. Okay, I'm gonna start to turn on my camera because I think he canceled me because he wanna know why I didn't show my camera. And then one time I put another email and when I get connect, I put another email and I received the same cancel thing in the other email. And I'm like, oh my God, he canceled me. No way, wait. So I go in the group, I said, let me see, he kicked me out of the Facebook group. So I started to look and I said, gosh, I don't find the Facebook group. Oh my God. Okay, I got his WhatsApp. I'm gonna chat to him. But then I found the group, right? I'm telling you this now and I'm nervous. This is the way I felt that day. And I'm like, but why? And then I found the group. I said, oh, I'm in the group. I wonder if he forgot that I'm in there. Let me check. And then I was in a hurry because I said, I have to listen to today's thing again because that day we were talking about, yesterday was about, oh gosh, I forgot the names. But now it was not yesterday, it was the day before. Self-esteem, right? And I
really.
And then I want to listen to something that I knew I didn't get cut that good, and I said I have to listen to it before he kicked me out. I have to listen to it. Let me get in there before he kicked me out. And I started listening to it, right? And they were making so much noise here at the house. And I was like, be quiet because I don't know when Joey's going to kick me out. I said, kick you out of what? I said, the group. I don't know why, but he canceled me all the way to February. I think even March he canceled me. So I'm serious. I'm serious. I was freaking out. I'm like, and then by reading, I read something that showed if you receive an email or something, I said, oh my God, thank you, my life come. I was so, then I started to laugh because I said, oh my God, why first of all, what I started thinking that I did something wrong, right? And then I started to say, okay, there comes the voices, there comes, Leslie voice, Charlie voice, Kathy voice, Elaine voice, Emily voice. I started thinking about everybody. They will be telling me, but why you think you did something wrong? Why you gotta, you know? And all these coaching things started to come to my mind. And the other reason why I'm saying this is because I never believed in this group. And this group, I mean, this is helping me so much. I'm a different person. I can tell I'm a different person. And I even, if you guys follow me on Facebook, you know that I do the live thing, and I started doing it, and I feel a lot better now. I started to understand a lot of stuff because you guys helped me so much. And then one thing, again, I never believed in these groups, right? And the other day, I think it was yesterday, I checked my email because I received this coaching thing, and it cost like $2,500. And then I never looked to those coaching things. I only accept whatever Sean say, because when I met Sean, I said, oh my God, that man have everything on his mind. He knows everything. He reads mine. So I never believed in no coaching. Even though I didn't know Sean, I said, any time that he want to say something, I will listen. That's the only person I will listen to, right? But I won't get in no group. But then they sent me this coaching thing, and it cost $2,500. And even given that now I believe in these things, I'm like, I started to analyze the thing, right? And I was like, 2,500. Okay. I don't have it, but I think I can have it. And then I said, oh no, I'm not gonna get in that, because I don't know if Sean is gonna put a price to this coaching one day, and I'm gonna spend my $2,500 in the other coach, and then I'm not gonna have the money for my mind. How we call this?
Mastermind
To this one. And I say, and then I'm gonna waste my money somewhere else, and I need my money to be with Elaine, with Kathy, with everybody here. So I'm like, no, I'm not even planning on look over there, because and this is the thing with me. I always start something and I never finish. But I jump everywhere else. And then with this, I'm so proud of me because I haven't missed one day, because I want to be here. I even last night I dreamed about Sean and Angel, and you guys were in a call center, and you guys were coaching me, both of you. And I'm like, oh my God. But this is good. I mean, thank you. And Kathy and Elaine, thank you. Thank you very much, because Leslie, thank you so much, because all this stuff that you guys talk to me, it really, really helped me. Kathy, I can't say all this stuff because I will have to put it in Spanish and in English, but all this stuff that you say today is so true. I mean, it's true. I mean, I'm the one who say, like, I'm new in this. How long you knew something? And you're totally right. And thank you for your words, and thank you for letting me know that you don't do network marketing, because to me, I got the thing that the only way that you can say stuff like you say is because you do network marketing. And today I was like, oh my God, she doesn't do network marketing. And I was like, oh my God. So see, I got good things in my mind, and I just think that I'm not right. And so thank you so much. Thank you, Charlie, because when you say that to separate, I'm like Leslie too, that I'm real like visual. And then John, you say like go to the kitchen, and then I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. It's true. That's why, because when I think about my dream, for some reason I go in my bedroom, and when I think about doing something with other stuff, I come here, and I mean, I'm so happy. And I just want you guys to know that. And one more thing. I always got one more thing. Yesterday, I was talking to one of the team and about performance. And then, and you know what he said to me? He said, gosh, Kayla, I'm going to start to learn. I know that you're doing this thing with Sean because I see it on Facebook, all these things. And I so envy you because you know English and I only know hello. But you know what? I already enrolled myself in this online English thing so I can understand at least 2 minutes of what you understand or those people say. I say, oh my God, I'm complaining here because I don't understand sometimes like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something that someone say. And here is one person in front of me saying that I'm so blessed because if he can understand at least 2 minutes, that would be like the word for him. And I'm like, Kayla, you don't know what you got. Stop complaining that you don't understand that much. I even think that you guys helping me with my English now because when I first start, it's like I talk a little bit slower and now I can talk more because I hear you guys. Sometimes you guys say some phrases, I'm like, what? And now I say this. What the hell is that? Because I hear you guys saying that. So I learned those things, stuff like that. I'm like, this ain't even my English class, So I'm learning all these things. So thank you so much. And I just want you guys to know what I feel, how I feel, and how you guys helping me so much. Thank you very much.
I love your authenticity, my friend. You're awesome. We love you.
How cool is this? And all I can hear sometimes is when Kayla's going on and she's like getting into her fun voice is Kayla, 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 listen, 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 Kayla. When you're in grandma's house, you can't listen to grandma. So here's what I will say. We're all translating all of this information back into our lives. Kayla's the one we see where she's got to translate it from English to Spanish, but we have to translate all of this conversation and all of this dialogue from where we are in this moment to our mind, our memory, our past, and translate it so that somewhere in the past we go, okay, I will adapt and adopt this new and I will take on my new place, right? Charlie said it, be curious. Wow, from nothing comes everything, right? You all show up here with this desire and passion to be present, and look what happened. You create this, right? There's a candlestick that gets lit, and then everybody else just lights off the fireworks. So I got to say, this is of all of the ones we've done, this one, the non-prepared, which is not how you should go through life, but the non-prepared, being ready, and then acting. This was one of the best calls to date. Y'all are awesome sauce. Have an amazing weekend. And I don't like that word just because every word has a vibration. I always see WEAK. Have a strong finish and 2 days of recharge to rebuild, and just make it your best. Review your notes. Take time. Go into your different rooms. Go find those places. Right? And when somebody comes into the kitchen, Kayla, when you're having conversations, say, get out of my office, right? Until as you go through these things. So just enjoy your life. You do make my life better. I can't tell you how it's helping me with my family. I can tell you. I just can't tell you all of the wonderful things it does for me on a daily basis, right? So I love you tons. I wish you the best, and then just a little bit more. May the best of your yesterdays be the worst of your tomorrows. I'll see you all where? At the next event. Thank you all. Bye for now.